the first time I performed it in LA, she came to see it. She was like, I don't know, so I'm kind of a character in your show.
I love that. You're listening to the Spiritual Shitshow podcast with Suzanne Soul, episode 64. Hello, you precious doves, and welcome to the Spiritual Shitshow podcast, where we get into the carnival ride the healing and spiritual awakening journey can be. I'm your host, Suzanne Soul, comedian, lifelong spiritual student, and I'm sharing some of the stuff that I've learned along my journey that has helped me and that I hope helps you too. And welcome back to this 3-part series with Teresa Thome, Emmy-winning producer, writer, and performer. In part 1, we talked about Teresa's Hallmark movie, The Blessing Bracelet, getting the movie made with her partner, co-writer, and co-producer, Patrick Ziegler, her spiritual journey, and what it took to finally say out loud, I'm a writer. In this episode, Teresa opens up about Warm Cheese, the one-woman show she wrote and performed about her relationship with her mother, which won her a 2019 Best Script Award at the United Solo Fest in New York City. We'll also talk about what it means to claim your own narrative, especially when that narrative doesn't match how other people might see the story. If you've ever wrestled with people on your point of view, this story might speak to you. Let's get into it.
Then all of a sudden people are like, oh, she's a writer. Oh, they had done, and it's that imposter syndrome. It's like, and at that point I had raised a lot of money because I knew how to write grants and I had run a nonprofit and I was a writer. I built contracts. I did all different kinds of writing, but I hadn't at that point been paid to be a creative writer. And then all of a sudden, and you're right, it did shift me. And then all of a sudden I was invited to write for this blog or invited to do this. And then all of a sudden I was getting writing gigs.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you say you were having some imposter syndrome?
Oh God, yes.
And how was that like coming out for you? Like what?
Well, it was just that every time I'd open the Instagram and I'd see writer, I'd be like, oh.
Liar!
Oh God, I hope nobody asks me what that means. But, but then I wrote Warm Cheese.
Yeah.
And it was like, then I was right. And then I produced it and got on a stage and you know what it is to do a solo show. And it's like, I wrote that.
Yes.
I want
to talk about that. So you wrote a show called Warm Cheese about your relationship with your mom.
Yes.
And I want to first ask, I'm sure a lot of people, want to tell stories about their experience with family. And they, it's like there was something in you that pushed through that. And so I would love to hear about that, how you were able to get over that hump of what will they say?
Yeah. I've always, I don't know. I don't have a lot of filters. I
love that. That's amazing to me.
And, I know, cause I'm also, I spent so much of my life codependent. You wouldn't think I would say that, but I definitely, I don't know. There's something about, I feel like if I have to tell a story, I have to tell a story. And the only way I was able to do that is because one, my mom was dead.
You're right. It does help. I'm not going to say, to tell the story when the person's no longer there.
And when I think I read some of that to my aunt, my dad's sister. She was like, what are you working on? I want to know what the, she was probably like 85 years old.
Gee, that's swell.
Yeah. And I read, and it was my dad's sister, not my mom's. So
that's good.
My mom did run of it, but her brother came. But when I read it to my aunt, she's like, oh, she's going to haunt you.
You're like, did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It's too funny. Every night. Did you hear something?
But the reason, aside from her being dead and my dad being like, I read some of it to my dad because, I don't know if I started performing it before he died. I think he might have been still, I don't think he was alive when I started performing it.
I don't think so either, as far as I remember. Yeah. But I love that you shared some of it.
I did share some of it. He knew who my mom was, he married her.
He's like, I lived with her.
he definitely knew her. And so, but it was my siblings, because my siblings are characters in the story, and more than my brother Joe or my sister Ann, who are the two oldest, it was my middle sister Mary Kay, because she really loved my mom.
Oh, okay.
And so it was very challenging for her. I knew it would be challenging for her.
Yes.
And, I was interviewed by our local NPR station for it or something. And I said something pretty negative about our mom.
Right.
And she heard the interview and she was like, I can't believe you would say that. And da-da-da. And I just said, but it's my story.
That is huge. That is what I think is the battle in so many familial relationships is my narrative allowed to myself.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's why I admire what you did so much.
And to my sister's credit, once she heard that, took her a while to hear it, but once she heard it, like I heard her describing it to somebody and she's like, well, this is my sister's show, but that's her. That's her interpretation of the relationship. I didn't have that relationship, and it was great. And then when I actually, she's so funny because she kind of is this character in the show because she's the one who loved my mom. Like, how do you have the family dynamic where everybody's like angry with mom, but then she's like, she's the best. So it's like, so when I performed it, the first time I performed it in LA, she came to see it. She was like, wow, so I'm kind of a character in your show.
I love that.
That's awesome. Isn't that amazing? Because she is kind of the comedic relief in the show, and there's stories about her are humorous and light, and so she's necessary to my narrative, and she's necessary to good theater
to balance the story. And I love that she's like, I'm the funny one, so it's okay.
Yeah. And it's so funny because even Patrick, when I first started working on it, Patrick, my writing partner that we spoke about, the first time I did it, I was doing it for, you're doing it to test audiences and stuff like that. And I had two people say things to me. Well, he said something and then my theater mentor said something. My theater mentor said, are you going to be okay if people don't like you at the end of this? Because they might not like your interpretation of what you're laying bare about your family either. Like, why is she talking about her family like that? Blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I can handle that. They can.
All right.
They can hate me. It's okay.
Yeah, wow.
And then Patrick said to me, your mom was really nice to me and I really loved her. And you don't show that in your play. So I added a whole section about how wonderful my mom was to
balance it. And it feels like, I know that there were a lot of struggles and, as all of us know, some of those early development struggles really cause us challenges in our lives and our esteem and our everything else, And so it's not so easy sometimes to be able to let go of that. And I so appreciate the fact that the first rendition was this kind of your straight pain and your straight raw wounding and feelings of it. And it totally makes sense. And that's why the beautiful part about putting out there like you did is to be able to, have that experience of putting it out in that raw way. And then to hear someone who was so close to you in your life, Patrick, share what about this aspect in it. And almost, I would love to hear, did it feel like at that point, I feel like I've expressed this deeper part of it that I needed to. And now to make it into just an actual piece, this feels right as a writer.
Yeah, as a writer, for sure. It was definitely necessary to make her whole as a character, maybe.
100%.
Still, at the end of the day, she's a character in my play. I mean, she's a character in a play, you know. I mean, in my first iterations, I'd be like, I cut the line eventually, but I would be like, it's so nice of you guys to come here to pay me to have therapy.
Total. That's what I'm saying. It's so cathartic. So I would love if how much you would love to share, because I have seen it and I thought it was so wonderful. I got to stream it when you did it during pandemic.
Oh.
Yeah. And I would love if you want to share the storyline of the piece.
Sure. I mean, I I started writing it the day I woke up and decided I no longer wanted to hate my dead mother. And
wow, that's powerful.
And that's when I was like, I've got to do something here to release this. And it's basically what happened essentially was the night of my mother's funeral. I found something that changed. I was already struggling with my challenges with her, but it made it much worse. And that was when my mother was alive. She said she had told me she had taken writing classes, and I was all excited, and she would never share anything she ever wrote with me because her self-esteem was so low. And it always made me so sad. And as a writer, I'm like, I don't care if you have 5 sentences on a page. I want to read them because I'm so proud of you for doing that.
Yeah.
And she never shared it with me. So the night of her funeral, I was like, you're dead. I get to go through your house. And I'm going to go everything.
Let me see these papers.
I know. I was like, where is it? And so I went looking for her writing journals. And what I found were journals that she had actually written to us, her family members, that said, dear family, today I was diagnosed with a fatal liver condition and I will soon die. Took her 9 years, but that's what happened. And then she kind of wrote in the journal, the bad things that we did that disappointed her.
Oh my God. When I'm gone, I don't want you to forget is how you pissed me off.
It's just the way your father did this. What? Yeah. And so I got really angry. I got really
Of course.
angry.
I mean,
and,
I don't blame you.
I was already on the, I was already dealing with some anger stuff, obviously. And that tipped the scales.
Can you share, like, what was like the dynamic that was the most challenging for you with her?
I think, it's like when I was in my 20s, my father and I had a very fraught relationship growing up. I would say that my father and I were 1,000 times more dysfunctional than my mother and I were growing up. My father did not know how to love. He was emotionally abusive. It was a terribly fraught relationship. But in my 20s, I sat down with him and I said, I want to heal this. I can't do this. So I wrote a long letter to him and I said, you just sit there and I'm going to read it to you.
I wrote a letter to my dad once too. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I read it to my dad and I sat down and I read it to him and we both sobbed and we both cried. And my dad, from that moment on, like, he apologized. He was like, I never thought I hurt you so hard. I didn't mean it. He was teased. He teased. He wasn't physically abusive, but he teased and pushed and poked. And I would cry and I'd sob and I'd be like, if you love me, you'd leave me alone. And he wouldn't leave me alone. And it just, it was just like a weird abuse.
So hard for a kid.
But he just didn't, I know now, the man didn't know how to love. Like he was a 10-year-old boy. He just didn't have he didn't have the skills. Anyway, from that moment on, and that was in my 20s, and it would take him another 20 years before he died. About every 3 to 6 months, he'd go, we okay? We okay? And I feel like, somebody told me once, do you have a conversation if you're having problems with somebody? Do you have a conversation with them if you think they want to learn? If you don't think they want to learn, if you don't think they want to hear your side of the story, don't have the conversation.
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely good advice.
Yeah, it's going to be lost on them, and you're not having the conversation for them anyway. You're having it for yourself,
and you'll walk away totally dissatisfied.
Yeah. They're not going to give you what you want. Yeah,
exactly. Going to the hardware store for milk.
Yes, but my dad would let you buy the nuts and bolts. Like my dad was capable of doing that. My mom said to me once, she would, like, for example, I would never go to a therapist because I'd have to sit there and be told what a horrible mother I was. Like, I think she just had so much guilt and she just was so afraid to, I said to her one time, because we joke, the family joke is that my dad's name was Damn It Bob, because it's how I refer to him. Damn it Bob, why'd you buy mixed berry yogurt when you know I love strawberries? Yeah, that's the family joke. We thought his name was Damn It Bob. And I said to my mom, I said, do you tell Dad that you love him? Oh, hell, he doesn't need to hear me say that. And I'm like, but he does need to hear you say that. And she was also chronically ill. She had chronic pain. She had drug addiction, I'm sure, prescription pain medication.
Mother's helper.
Yeah, she had a lot going on. And honestly, it wasn't until like this, I haven't performed the show in a few years, but one of the things that I've been looking for all along was to be able to just say, I love my mother.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be able to say, because she was a complicated woman. There was good in her. She made my wedding dress. There is good in that human.
But the wounded child can't see that.
I wasn't prepared for it, but that's what I wanted so bad. And I was driving on the PCH and it was Marine Layer. And this was probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was Marine Layer. And I came out, when you're going on you're heading towards Santa Monica from the Palisades.
Oh, beautiful.
Right. And you're driving down PCH and it's Marine Layer. And then it scooches onto the 10 under the underpass. You go into the underpass or overpass. I never get that right. And when I came out on the other side of it, the sun was shining. It was so weird. You know what I mean? It's like Marine Layer in less than 30 seconds. I went from, because this is, from cloud to sun. And in my heart, I went, I love my mother. And I went, oh my God. And I just come from meditation. I was at Lake Shrine at Pacific Palisades. Yeah. And I wasn't meditating on my mom or anything like that. I was just there doing a meditation and journaling. And all of a sudden and it was so funny, the comedian and you might appreciate this, because I thought, I've been wanting that for 20 years. I feel like I should cry. And I was like, I was trying.
What do you do?
I feel like this should be more emotional than it is.
Yeah.
It wasn't emotional at all.
Those are usually like the deeper kind of shifts.
Yeah.
And you shared about like the dynamic with your dad, but what was the dynamic with your mom that was a challenge for you, or was your wounding with her?
I think she was just mean.
Okay.
She was just, like I say, and I've written, it's interesting. I'm actually writing a book now, kind of loosely based on it. Just reached the halfway mark, 32,000 words.
That's great.
There weren't wire hangers in my childhood. It's just this, for me, it was kind of this constant, just a constant disappointment. It was, I felt like I was disappointing her constantly. I couldn't, it was just mean behavior. It was just,
what I'm hearing.
Don't be, hey mom, can I get you that? I don't want that. It was snap, snap. Everything was, and I'll be honest. Part of the reason why I went to LA also is because I had chronic pain and I could see myself being my mom, and I didn't want to be the woman to my husband that my mother was to my father. And I remember one time my husband said, I came downstairs from the bedroom, in the breakfast, and there were crumbs on the kitchen counter. And I just looked at him and I went, my God, you're a pig. Why are you such a pig? And I was like, and my husband was like, I'm sorry.
Fred.
But I was like, that's my mom.
Yeah.
That's my mom blowing a gasket over something pointless.
Right.
But you get that over a lifetime.
Yes. Oh my God. So damaging. Yeah. What I'm hearing is of someone who was just so cut off.
Yeah.
And just see and refused to be in an exchange of love with her kids.
Yeah. Didn't know. I think, again, is it that she didn't know how? She tried, she would make us stuff. She would do, it's just her love language didn't always match up with ours. Mm-hmm. And again, what Patrick, After she died, I remember Mrs. Waldecker, oh my God, your mom was the funniest person I ever met.
Not at home.
But again, I remember when my husband first met my mom, and And he was like, your daughter is just a delight or whatever. And she's like, well, you've never lived with her.
Like, come on. Like, is that necessary?
Is that necessary? But also, apple does not fall far from the tree if we're not careful.
Right. 100%. I totally appreciate that. So knowing this, so the storyline of your solo show called Warm Cheese about this relationship, what are the kind of the arcs that you in the storyline of it, basically?
Well, basically it starts out with finding the journal and then kind of going through that journey. And part of what happened is, I kind of walk through moments of my life, as I'm kind of retelling the story and just kind of pick out the things that, the things that stuck with me the most to give. I remember when my mom was sick in the hospital and dying for the 16th time, because she did go into the hospital and almost die a lot. And I'm so proud.
Sorry, not laughing, but
so true.
It's not, she dying? I don't know.
I mean, honestly, after she did die, and sorry, Mom, God love you. After she did die, I would dream that she was alive.
It was a farce.
And in my dream, I would be like, I got to do this again? Are you kidding me?
Is there a 17? Time 17.
Right. It's so crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
So it just kind of goes through those moments. But I remember she had come down to the Children's Museum and she was doing some volunteer stuff. And I'd said to her, hey, Mom, because she was like, I might as well give up. I might as well die. I'm just dead now. I don't know why God doesn't take me. Whoa. And I'm like, Mom, you have quality of life. Because she'd said she had no quality of life. I'm like, you come down to the museum, you volunteer. And she said, that means nothing to me. And so to me, that was like what I heard. Yeah. Whether or not that's what she said was, you mean nothing to me.
Yes, I totally appreciate that.
Was our shared experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, so I talk about that through the show. And what I come to at the end really is that, one, my mom needed to die in order for me to get healing because she wasn't capable of it in her aliveness.
And it was like torment to have her there and not be able to.
Yeah, to have that conversation. She just wasn't capable. It wasn't going to happen. It was too painful. There's other things she's done to my siblings that she just wasn't capable of having warm, open, honest conversation. So she needed to die, which I learned in the show. And the other thing is in that line where she says, I would never go to a therapist because I'd have to sit there and be told what a horrible parent I was. I'm like, she knew. She knew her flaws. And I think what the journals were, and now that I'm healed-ish, I can
as much as we can be.
As much as we can be, I can read the good stuff in that journal too. I can read, this wasn't, I love the journal entry that she wrote about an episode of Lou Grant.
Oh my God! I have no entries about Lou Grant in my journals. I feel remiss.
And she also wrote one about Brooke Shields. She was so distraught because Brooke Shields was in a made-for-TV movie of the week where she was a lesbian who couldn't see her partner because they weren't legally married because it wasn't legal at that time. And
can you please tell me about the Lou Grant episode?
I don't remember what it was. She was so upset. I'd have to go back and look for it again. So it's like I can go back now and see those, and but the night of her funeral, I sat and read those to my siblings and my dad, and I just watched my dad get stabbed, kind of over and over again, and. It was so anyway, but the other piece of it is knowing that she said that for me was kind of like, if I try hard enough, I can see that as an apology from her. It's not that I needed an apology from her, but the fact that she understood she was flawed, right, without having to say it, there was something really healing in that for me.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, that was part 2 of my incredible conversation with the talented Teresa Thome. And in the final episode of this series, we stay in the real heart work. We talk about healing, making meaning of our struggles, and how humor helps us get through all of it. See you on part 3, y'all. To learn more about Teresa's work, I will leave her links in the show notes. Anywho, as always, my name is Suzanne Soul. This has been the Spiritual Shit Show podcast. Thank you ever so much for listening. And I'll see you gorgeous motherfuckers on the next one. Roll it, precious duckling.